Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Soul Whispers Coming Home to You. This is episode 19, Insomnia, What the Night is Trying to Tell You. Before we begin, let's take one slow breath together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let your jaw soften and let your shoulders drop. This moment is yours. Hi, my name is Susan, and I'm a certified somatic trauma-informed coach, and the rest of my credentials are in the show notes below. I came to this work through my own healing journey, one that included nearly 4 decades in a relationship that asked more of me than it gave back, and a diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis at the age of 27 that finally made me stop and listen. What I discovered changed everything. The body is not working against us. It is speaking for us. And when we give the nervous system the safety, the language, and the tools it has been waiting for, healing becomes possible in ways that genuinely surprise you. I'm here because my deepest wish is to help the person I used to be, and anyone whose body has been speaking in symptoms while the mind keeps pushing through. If that is you, in any form, from any direction, I am here to give you the language, the tools, and the reminder that the power to heal has always been inside you. And that is what Soul Whispers is all about. For those of you who have been with me from the beginning, we are 19 episodes in. Last week, under the new moon in Cancer, we planted a seed. The seed of giving yourself the same consistent care you've been giving to everyone else. I hope you are watering it, even on the days when it feels performative or forced. The watering is the practice, and the practice is what changes things. Tonight, 4 days before Mercury retrograde ends, we go into the night, into the 3 a.m. mind that will not stop, into the body that lies down but does not rest, into the nervous system that learned in circumstances that made complete sense that sleeping was not safe. And we're going to bring it 3 specific, practical somatic tools that you can use right away. I know the 3 a.m. ceiling very well. For years, I would wake up somewhere between 2 and 4 in the morning with a start that felt like something had been dropped inside my chest. Not a nightmare I could name, not a sound in the house, just a sudden, absolute alertness in my body that had just been asleep. The heart already beating a little faster than it should. The mind immediately active in a way that had nothing to do with choice. And then came the thoughts. Not peaceful, unhurried thoughts. The cataloging kind. The things that were left undone. The conversation I had replayed 17 times already. The something wrong that I could never quite identify but could feel very clearly. The mental scanning of everything and everyone in my life to find where the threat was coming from. I would lie there for what felt like hours. Sometimes it was hours, willing myself to sleep, which, as anyone who has done it knows, is exactly the wrong approach. The harder you try to fall asleep, the more awake you become. The mind that's trying to sleep is still a mind that is running, and a running mind is not a sleeping mind. What I did not understand for a very long time was that the 3 a.m. waking was not a sleep problem. It was a safety problem. My nervous system had learned over decades that the night was when things could go wrong, that unconscious was vulnerable, that the only safe option was to stay partially awake, partially alert, always one breath away from being ready. I lived in a home where the emotional atmosphere was unpredictable, where I never quite knew what I would wake up to, where the morning could bring either warmth or coldness that had no explanation and no discernible cause. And my nervous system, that faithful, precise, extraordinarily diligent guardian, responded to that unpredictability the only way it knew how. It stayed on. Even when the relationship was over, even years later, the alarm system that had been running for decades did not simply switch off because the circumstances changed. It had been running so long, it had forgotten it was an alarm system. It thought it was just how things were. Learning to sleep again, truly sleep, deeply, restoratively, without the 3 a.m. ceiling, was one of the last things to return in my healing. And it returned not through sleeping pills or white noise or lavender sprays. It returned when my nervous system finally, gradually began to believe that the night was safe. Tonight, I want to help you begin to teach that as well to your body. We are in the waxing crescent phase, the light building slowly after last week's new moon in Cancer. This is a time of gentle momentum, of the seed beginning to reach toward the light. Mercury retrograde ends on July 23rd, just 4 days away. The inward review season is nearly complete. What has surfaced over these past few weeks in the limiting beliefs work, in the self-nurturing practice, in whatever the retrograde brought back up for you, is ready to begin integrating. And integration requires rest, real rest, the kind the body cannot access when the nervous system is still running the night watch. Tonight's practices are specifically chosen for this transition moment, the turning from inward review toward forward movement, and the nervous system support that turns everything upward and what it requires for you to do so. Sleep requires something that many of us in the healing community have not had reliable access to for most of our lives. Safety. Not the intellectual understanding that we're safe, the felt sense of safety in the body. The physical experience of the nervous system genuinely letting go of its vigilance, releasing its hold on the scanning function, and allowing the body to move into the deep, restorative states that sleep provides. When the nervous system has been in chronic threat from an unpredictable home environment, from a relationship that required constant monitoring for years of walking on eggshells, reading rooms, and managing atmospheres, it develops a particular relationship with unconsciousness. Unconsciousness is vulnerable. Sleep is the one state in which you cannot monitor the environment, cannot respond to a shift in the emotional atmosphere, and where you cannot protect yourself from what might arrive in the dark. And so the brain, in its profound commitment to keeping you safe, begins to resist full sleep. It stays in lighter sleep stages. It wakes during the night, often in the early hours when cortisol naturally begins to rise, and it runs its checks. Is everything okay? Is there a threat? Is this safe? The amygdala, the brain's alarm center, keeps one eye open even in sleep. And in people who have experienced prolonged trauma or emotional threat, that one open eye becomes a feature rather than a response to a specific crisis. The 3 a.m. mind is not malfunctioning. It is doing precisely what it was trained to do. Stay vigilant, stay ready, stay one step ahead of whatever the morning might bring. The question is not how to shut it off. The question is how to finally give it the message it's been waiting for. You can rest now. I have this. We're safe. Research confirms what the body's always known. Trauma triggers a hyperarousal state that keeps the nervous system in a constant state of readiness, making it genuinely difficult to access the deep sleep stages needed for memory processing and emotional regulation. The amygdala remains hyperactive, scanning for threat even during sleep itself. And in people who grew up in emotionally volatile households, this hypervigilance can become the nervous system's baseline, the state it returns to automatically, regardless of the actual level of safety in the present moment. This is why the usual sleep hygiene advice, no screens before bed, keep the room cool, avoid caffeine, helps some people and makes almost no difference to others. For the person whose insomnia is rooted in a nervous system that learned that nighttime was dangerous, the problem is not the screen or the temperature. The problem is the alarm that's been running for 20-something years, and that alarm does not respond to blackout curtains. Now, in the language of the body, insomnia carries a message that is both simple and profound. There's something unresolved that the daytime did not have space for. The mind that runs at 3 a.m. is often running through exactly the things that the day was too busy, too noisy, too full of other people's needs to process. The grief that did not get felt, the anger that was swallowed, the fear that was pushed down because there was no time and no safe space for it, the thought that surfaced and was immediately distracted away from, the things your body knows and your mind is still catching up to. Sleep researchers call this the emotional housekeeping function of sleep. The brain uses the quieter hours to process and consolidate the emotional experiences of the day. But when the emotional experiences of the day and the year and the decade are too large and too unprocessed to move through quickly, the housekeeping goes on longer than it should. The 3 a.m. mind is not being difficult. It is trying to finish a job that has been accumulating for a very long time. The night is not the enemy. It is the part of the day that's been given the job of holding everything that did not fit anywhere else. When we begin to process in the day, through somatic practice, through internal family systems work, through emotional freedom technique tapping, through the kind of honest inner work that Soul Whispers is about, the night gradually has less to hold on to, and sleep eventually returns. So here are 3 somatic practices for sleep. You can use them together. All 3 are a sequence as a pre-sleep ritual, or reach for whichever one feels most relevant in the moment when you're awake. They're short, they are body-based, and they speak directly to the nervous system rather than to the thinking mind. So the first one is the vagus nerve breath, 4, 7, 8. When to use it? In bed, right before you go to sleep, or when you wake during the night and your heart's already racing. The vagus nerve is the primary pathway through which the nervous system receives the signal that it is safe to rest. The extended exhale activates the parasympathetic branch, the rest and digest state, directly and immediately. So you lie on your back, place one hand on your belly, inhale slowly through the nose for the count of 4. Feel your belly rise beneath your hand. Hold gently for the count of 7, no strain, just a gentle pause, and exhale completely through the mouth for a count of 8. You want to make the exhale as long and complete as possible, and let the belly fall all the way. You will repeat 4 to 6 rounds of this. After the second round, most people notice the heart rate beginning to slow and the body beginning to soften. And as you exhale, you can silently repeat, I am safe. I can rest. The night is watching over me. Practice 2 is the progressive body release. When to use would be when you are lying in bed and the body feels tense, restless, or unable to settle. This practice works by deliberately tensing and releasing each part of the body in sequence, teaching the nervous system through direct physical experience that release is possible. Lying on your back, closing your eyes, taking one slow breath in and a long exhale out. Now, starting at your feet, you want to curl your toes and tense the feet tightly for 5 seconds. Then release completely and feel the difference. Then move to the calves. Tense for 5 seconds and release. The thighs, tense for 5 seconds, release. The belly, draw it in and hold for 5 seconds, and release and let go completely. The hands, make fists tight as you can for 5 seconds and release. Your arms and shoulders, lift them slightly and tense for 5 seconds, then release and let them sink down heavily into the mattress. The jaw, clench gently for 5 seconds. Release and let the mouth fall slightly open. The forehead, frown tightly for 5 seconds, release and let the face go completely smooth. Then lie still and feel the whole body, heavy, warm, and released. And you may say internally, every part of me is allowed to rest now. Every part. Most people do not reach the end of this practice before sleep arrives. Practice 3, the safety anchor. So you would use this when it's specifically the middle of the night waking, when you open your eyes in the dark and the mind immediately starts running. Do not reach for your phone. Do not check the time. Both of these activate the thinking brain and make returning to sleep significantly harder. Instead, place one hand on your heart and one on your belly and feel both. Take 3 slow breaths, in for 4 and out for 8. Then orient gently to your environment without opening your eyes fully. Notice 5 things you can physically feel. The weight of your comforter, the pillow beneath your head, the warmth of your own hands, the rise and fall of your belly, the stillness of the room. This orienting, bringing the senses back to the present moment, interrupts the amygdala's threat scanning and tells the nervous system, there's nothing to prepare for right now. This is just the night, and the night is safe. Then you may say internally and slowly, the night has been here before, and I've always been safe in it. My body knows how to rest, and I give it permission to rest now. Then repeat the 3 breaths, and let the eyes stay closed. Now, I want to say something to anyone who's been struggling with sleep for a long time and has begun to believe that deep restorative sleep is simply no longer available to them. It is available. The nervous system that learned to stay awake has the same capacity to learn to rest, not through force, not through medication alone, through the consistent, patient, compassionate practice of teaching the body one night at a time, one breath at a time, that the emergency is over. This takes time. I will not pretend otherwise. A nervous system that has been running the night watch for 20 or 30 years does not stand down after one practice session, but it begins to. Each time you meet the 3 a.m. mind with a breath instead of a spiral, each time you reach for the safety anchor instead of the phone, each time you release the body deliberately before sleep, you are laying down a new message in your nervous system. And messages delivered consistently eventually become the new program. Rest is not a luxury. It is not something you earn through productivity or deserve only on good days. Rest is a biological need that your nervous system has been overriding for years in service of your survival. Returning is not self-indulgence. It is one of the most profound acts of healing available to you. God, the universe and source, the intelligence that designed the body to restore itself during sleep, that wired the vagus nerve as the pathway between safety and rest, that gave every one of us the biological capacity for deep, nourishing, complete rest. That intelligence is at work in every breath you take tonight. The night is not something to survive. It's something to inhabit, quietly, warmly, in the knowledge that the darkness is not dangerous, that the stillness is not threatening, that the body in the bed is held and safe and allowed at last to let go. Now, Mercury retrograde ends in about 4 days. The inward season is completing. And what you are learning to do right now, to rest, to receive, to let the nervous system finally stand down from its long watch, is exactly the preparation you need for what comes next. Sleep well tonight, my friend. You have earned it in every sense of the word. And now, if you're ready for your guided meditation, let's begin. Find your position. If you're listening in bed, let yourself be fully in the position you sleep in. Let the pillow, the mattress, hold you completely. You do not need to sit up for this one. You're allowed to be horizontal. You are allowed to be already on your way to sleep. So take one slow breath in and a long, complete exhale, letting that exhale be twice as long as the inhale. And 2 more breaths just like that, in and out, each one a little slower. And as you're breathing, feel the weight of your body. Really feel it. The heaviness of your limbs in the bed. The way the mattress is rising up to meet you. Not passively, but actively. The way the ground holds a tree. You do not have to hold yourself up right now. You're being held completely. Now bring your awareness to your nervous system, not as a concept, as a physical felt sense. The hum of it, the slight tension that is still there, the readiness, the one eye open quality that's been part of so many of your nights. And speak to it now, not sternly, not with frustration, with the gentleness you would offer something that has been working very hard for a very long time. And you can say to this, you have been at this watch for so long. You have been so faithful, so precise, so completely committed to keeping me safe. And I want you to know, I see it. I know what it has cost you. I know the nights you kept me from the deep rest. And I needed that because you were not sure. Could not be certain. That rest was safe. And breathe. And now I want to tell you something I need you to hear. Not just to hear, but to feel. The night is safe tonight. This room is safe. This bed is safe. The morning will come without the thing you've been bracing for. There's nothing arriving in the dark that you need to prepare for. The emergency, the one that began so long ago, in circumstances that are no longer present. Is over. It ended. And you're allowed to know that now. And breathe. And feel the breath moving in and out slower now. Your body already beginning to respond to the message. Now, one by one, let the parts of your body standing watch begin to stand down. The jaw, let it soften. The tongue dropping away from the roof of the mouth. The forehead, let it smooth. Nothing to work out right now, nothing to solve. And the shoulders, let them sink 1 inch, then another. Into the pillow, into the mattress, into being held. And the chest, let the breath move through it easily. No guarding, no bracing. Just air moving in and life moving on. And the belly, let it be soft. Let it rise and fall without effort. The breath doing what it has always known how to do. And the hands, uncurl the fingers, let the palms open. There's nothing to grip, nothing to hold onto tonight. And breathe. Now feel how different the body is from where it was when we began. Even a few degrees of softening is real. That is the nervous system beginning to trust the message. And now, slowly, very slowly, let the thoughts begin to slow too. Not by forcing them, just by letting each one arrive and drift past without following it. Like clouds moving across a night sky. They are there, and they are passing. You do not have to go with them. Now speak this final thing to God, to the universe, to Source, to the intelligence that wired rest into every cell of your body and has been waiting patiently for your nervous system to accept it. I am ready to rest completely. Without guilt and without vigilance. I trust that the night is mine to inhabit. That the morning will come in its own time. And that everything needing my attention can wait until I have slept. I am safe. My body is safe. The watch is over. And I am coming home. All the way home. Into the rest that has always been waiting for me. Now let the eyes stay closed. Let the breath keep moving. and let the body sink a little deeper into whatever is holding it. And if you are in the position to drift off into a deep, wonderful sleep, then just allow your body to go into that wonderful state. Sleep is on its way. And if you're listening to this at a time where you are not preparing for sleep, you will allow yourself to gently come back to the present time and open your eyes when you're ready. Together, we've done 19 episodes, and tonight, 3 somatic tools for the nervous system and a meditation that you can return to every night until the body begins to remember what rest feels like. The practices are in the show notes, so save this episode, listen to the meditation whenever the 3 a.m. ceiling appears, and let it become a familiar voice in the dark, the reminder that the watch is over and that sleep is yours. Mercury retrograde ends in 4 days. The next episode, episode 20, we step into the full moon in Aquarius and the power of breaking patterns. The patterns of thinking, the patterns of relating, the patterns that were instilled before you were old enough to question them, and that have been running ever since. We bring NLP, the science of how the mind makes meaning, and we begin to consciously, deliberately, permanently rewrite the program. If today names something you have been carrying alone in the dark for a long time, the 3 a.m. mind, the body that will not settle, the exhaustion that sleep never quite fixes, this work goes deeper in a one-to-one session. I do offer those, and all of that information is in my website and in the show notes below. I want you to know you deserve a full night's sleep, not occasionally, but every night. I would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and tell me if the 3 a.m. mind is you. Did anything in today's episode land? And you are not alone in the night. And the more of us who can name it, the less isolated every person listening in the dark will feel. If Soul Whispers is part of your coming home, I'm so glad you're with us. And if you are new, I hope that you'll subscribe, leave a thumbs up and a comment if today helped. And please share this with one person you know who's lying awake right now, wondering why their mind will not stop. Remember, my friend, rest is yours. It's always been yours. Till next time, love and hugs.